G'day kids and grown-ups. If you are loving watching and learning with Ozzie, it would be amazing if you could please do me a really big favour and just tell anybody else that you think might enjoy it too. In the meantime, enjoy this brand new episode, and as always, stay keen.
Ozzie, 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 oi! Ozzie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of mine.
G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day Ozzie. G'day.
G'day kids, Ozzie here. We've got a super fun book today in Story Time with Ozzie. It's a Halloween book and it's called Prepare If You Dare, a Halloween Scare at My House. Ooh, spooky. It's by Eric James and Marina and it's an Aussie Halloween book. So look closely and see if you can recognise any of the Aussie things throughout the book. Prepare if you dare for a true Aussie scare, a night of pure terror to whiten your hair. A tale full of sights that are best left unseen. You ready? You sure? This was my Halloween. The werewolves howled loudly, the moon shone so bright. I stayed in my bedroom, the curtains shut tight. My heart started pounding, my knees felt so weak, but being a brave kid, I just had to peek. Look, there he is up there, having a peek out the window. I pulled back the curtains, my mouth open wide. An army of monsters had gathered outside. They staggered and stumbled and lurched down the streets with bags full of lollipops, chockies and sweets. Emerging from sewers and houses and stores came creatures and critters with ravenous roars. Then more came along from all over the states. They filled up the streets at a dizzying rate. Look at all these monsters. Spooky monsters. From New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania too. A mountain of monsters, the motliest crew. All gathered together for one spooky night to seek out the living and give them a fright. Look, all the monsters are coming to scare all the people. The thunder clapped loudly with terrible booms. The witches dodged lightning and clung to their brooms. The two-headed doggies tried chasing their tails. Two-headed doggies? And banshees let loose with their hideous wails. The vampires hung out on the street in their gangs and grinned just to show off their pearly white fangs. Their teeth. The mummies moaned loudly and swayed side to side while Frankenstein stomped about town with his bride. It's a spooky bunch of monsters, isn't it? The ships off Cape Leeuwin rose up from the ocean, their skeleton crews causing quite a commotion. The undead took coffin lids out of their graves and used them to surf on the gnarliest waves. A cranky old crocodile went trick-or-treating, but none of the treats were the kind he liked eating. A little old Sheila tried giving him bread. He said, "Don't be silly," and ate her instead. The creepies were crawly, the crazies were crazed. The zombies from Sydney had eyes that were glazed. The ogres from Brisbane were ugly as sin, with big bulging noses and warts on their chin. The ghouls danced around but were lacking in soul. The gargoyles could rock and the headless could roll. Although the whole spectacle seemed to spell doom, I foolishly thought I'd be safe in my room. But then something happened that made my heart jump. From somewhere below me, I heard a big thump. I froze for a moment, as quiet as a mouse. Yes, I could hear noises from inside the house. Oh no. Have the monsters come to his house? I put on my slippers and pulled on my robe I shook like a leaf. I didn't think it showed. Then, slowly but surely, I crept down the stairs, preparing myself for the biggest of scares. My hands trembled wildly. I opened the door. I still shudder now at the horrors I saw. The stereo spat out some hideous sounds as dozens of monsters jumped madly around. The sight was horrific. It made my skin crawl. These monsters were having their Halloween ball. And right in the middle, one monster loomed tall. The hairiest, scariest monster of all. In his house. He turned round and saw me. I fell to my knees. I'm not very tasty, so don't eat me, please. He beamed ear to ear and broke free from the huddle, ran over and gave me a big monster cuddle? What? Why is the monster cuddling the boy? At last, we have found you, he said with a smile. From Darwin to Melbourne, we've looked for a while. We came here to give you your wonderful prize. He held up a trophy in front of my eyes. A prize? And for me? I replied with a grin. But what did I enter? And how did I win? You've won the first prize for the costume you're wearing. It even scares me, and I'm tip-top at scaring. What? This is crazy. This isn't a costume. I'm just dressed as me. Exactly. The scariest thing you could be. A small human child with cute button nose. Your teeth are so shiny. You've only 10 toes. No hair on your face and no horns on your head. The whites of your eyes are not glowing or red. A bone-chilling costume, a horrible sight. A worthy ensemble for Halloween night. The big scary monster is not so scary after all. He thinks a little boy is scary. We partied together until the moon set. A Halloween night that I'll never forget. And next year, I won't want to hide in my bed. The monsters won't scare me. I'll scare them instead. Boo! How good is that? Oh, that's such a cool book. The little boy spends his Halloween really scared of all these monsters that are having a Halloween ball in his house, but they're not even scary. They're actually scared of him. The kids, there's nothing to be scared about at Halloween. It's a super fun time. I hope you have a great Halloween, kids. We'll see you on our next video, and until then, stay keen. Hey kids, did you have lots of fun today watching Aussie? I hope so. Did you know that we've got a heap of Aussie episodes on our YouTube channel? If you haven't already, go back and have a scroll through. I reckon you'll find some others that you absolutely love. And while you're there, why don't you hit subscribe? That way you won't miss out on any of our new videos that we bring out. We'll see you again soon, kids. Until then, stay keen. Oh, and by the way, did you happen to find the hidden Aussie icon in that video? Yeah, make sure you look closely because they're in every single video. That's right. Stay keen, kids.
Aussie, 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 oi! Aussie is a friend of yours and he's a friend of